I was told by some people that these are sick lunatics that I'm dealing with. Give yourself a pardon, your life will be a lot easier. I said, I would never give myself a pardon.
Even if you were reelected in this moment?
Well, I think it's very unlikely. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. You mean because I challenged an election, they want to put me in jail?
There he is, saying it's unlikely that he would give himself a pardon. I can't imagine people would believe that. That's the former president on with Kristen Welker. That will air on Sunday. She's the new host of Meet the Press, and this is her first interview where she apparently didn't push back too much on Donald Trump, but we'll see when we see the entire video. Trump claimed multiple times that lots of people told him that he could use the pardon to pardon himself, and he should in his last administration, and he didn't that time, so why would he this time? Here's a little more from Donald Trump.
Mr. President, if you were reelected, would you pardon yourself?
I could have pardoned myself. Do you know what? I was given an option to pardon myself. I could have pardoned myself when I left. People said, would you like to pardon yourself? I had a couple of attorneys that said, you can do it if you want. I had some people that said it would look bad if you do it, because I think it would look terrible. I said, here's the story. These people are thugs, horrible people, fascists, Marxists, sick people. They've been after me from the day I came down the escalator with Melania, and I did a great job as president. I said, the last thing I'd ever do is give myself a pardon. I could have given myself a pardon. Don't ask me about what I would do. I could have, the last day, I could have had a pardon done that would have saved me all of these lawyers and all of these fake charges, these Biden indictments. They're all Biden indictments, political. So, ready? I never said this to anybody. I was given the option. I could have done a pardon of myself. You know what I said? I have no interest in even thinking about it. I never even wanted to think about it. And I could have done it. And all of these questions you're asking me about the fake charges, you wouldn't be asking me, because it's a very powerful thing for a president.
Well, you can believe Donald Trump if you'd like, but that comes at your own peril, because it seems like he actually thought more seriously about giving himself a pardon than he let on to Kristen Welker. CNN previously reported the then president had been asking aides and lawyers, including then White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who on closed captioning comes up as Patsy Baloney during the, which I love more than anything, during those 1-6 hearings. He asked Pat Cipollone about his self-pardon power in the weeks surrounding the end of his time in the White House. And as we know, Trump has now been indicted 4 times in federal court in Washington, D.C. and Florida, and in state courts in Georgia and New York. State courts important. He faces a total of 91 charges, and that he could pardon himself in D.C., he could pardon himself in the other federal case in Florida, but he can't pardon in a state case, and the hush money and the voter interference couldn't be pardoned. Plus, a presidential pardon is untested, and experts, or a self-pardon, untested, experts divided on its constitutionality. A legal memo written by the Department of Justice's Office of Legal Counsel just days before Richard Nixon's resignation in 1974 argued a president could not self-pardon, but the legal opinion, of course, is not binding. So whether or not he can do it, the point is, he says that he probably wouldn't, which means what, Cenk?
It means absolutely nothing.
Right.
Okay, so I got a lot of thoughts on it, but I'm going to give the first thought to one of our members. Crystal Sheets is a YouTube member and wrote in, Trump wouldn't pardon himself, and I'm the Loch Ness Monster, and we live in Candyland with cotton candy clouds. Love doing the show with members. That's funny. It's true. Hit the join button below the video to become a member and do the show with us. Okay, let me add on to what Crystal's saying. So, first of all, he did have a number of interesting confessions there. First, he said, we had a team of lawyers that came in, said I should do it, but I wouldn't do it. Later on, he's like, I didn't even think about it. Then why did you have the meeting with teams of lawyers? He's such an obvious liar. That's why, like, the MAGA guys, I understand their anti-establishment rage and all that stuff, and I probably understand it better than almost anyone else, certainly on the left, right? But I'm amazed, I'm never not amazed at how they can't see how obvious it is that he's a liar.
That was pretty Trumpian, by the way.
The way I said it?
Yeah,
I know, totally.
I understand.
I'm trying to speak their language.
I probably understand it better than anybody else.
I understand it better than anybody.
Nobody understands the anti-establishment rage like I do.
Better than I do.
You got to give it credence. You got to give yourself credence. You know what I mean?
It was both giving yourself credit, but also at the same time a little confusing the way I stated it. It's perfectly Trumpian.
Very Trump.
Anyways, but you get it, which is that, like, how do you guys not see it? He just contradicted himself right there in the same, like, 2-minute span. Anyways, but he also said, and this is gonna be interesting, I mean, I hope we never hit this scenario where he's president again and can pardon himself. He said, it looks terrible. Okay, so when you do pardon yourself, if that happens, you're gonna say it looks wonderful, we all know it, and all of MAGA is gonna say it looks wonderful. We're gonna play this tape of him saying it looks terrible, and they're gonna say, no, fake news, fake news. And then he went further and said, it's the last thing I would do. And then when he does it, we're gonna play that tape, and then MAGA's gonna go, no, quoting Trump is fake news.
Right.
So
or it doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah. Okay, guys, I mean, think about it this way. Sorry, Jackson, one last thing about it. Does anyone think that Donald Trump, if he won re-election and gets convicted of these crimes, goes, no, you guys are right, I'm gonna go to jail? Come on.
And his base would want him to pardon himself too. They would be cheering for it, you know. But the idea that Donald Trump wouldn't do this, as if he hasn't done many things that are like equally on par with that, or even more egregious. Like he wants to change the laws of an entire state, which is Georgia, so that he can stay out of prison. You know, he openly calls. We have him on the phone asking for like one more vote than he needs to win in that area. You know, it doesn't get more direct and obvious than that. And everything else that he's done just to rip people off across his whole life and do what he needs to do to protect himself and throw everybody else under the bus. Everyone he's hired, he hires the best people, but then as soon as they do anything remotely against his brand and his name, then they're the biggest idiots and they're the worst people in the world. So yeah, Donald Trump absolutely 100% would pardon himself because why wouldn't he? That's what history says.
Yeah, I want to say last couple of things here for me. I'm just slightly amused that he does this on Truth Social all the time. The thugs, fascist, Marxists that are against me.
Everybody.
I'm pretty sure they can't be fascist and Marxist. So if I were to say, I think Donald Trump is a fascist, so I'm not criticizing him for hyperbole, although I don't think it's hyperbole at all when you try to do a coup against America and say, screw elections, I just want to stay in power even though I lost. That's kind of definition of fascism. But anyways, but I wouldn't call Trump a Marxist because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I get it if he calls his opponents a Marxist, but fascist doesn't make any sense. But again, logic and facts are not relevant for that portion of the political spectrum. I wish they were, but they're not apparently.
Nor is history, by the way, because I don't know that he'd be able to define Marxist or fascist really, like in what they each mean.
By the way, next time Michael goes out to interview Trump fans, maybe we'll ask him.
That's a great question.
Yeah, what is it? Because
that is a good no. Yeah,
they call everyone a Marxist. What's a Marxist? There's a 0% chance that you're going to get it. No, that's not true. Some of those Trump guys actually that Michael interviews, they're like, oh, interesting. Like, okay, so I think you'll get 2 interesting, good answers, and the rest will be a hot mess.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're gonna maybe be going to South Carolina in a week or so, so we'll add that to our repertoire.
Yeah, and the last thing I was going to mention is, so you guys had a meeting with lawyers about whether you should pardon yourself. I know I didn't have a meeting like that. I know I'm not president, so it doesn't quite perfectly apply, but Obama didn't have a meeting like that. Why did you guys have a meeting like that? Oh, right, because you knew you broke the law. You totally and utterly knew. Like now he's making it seem like, I can't believe they charged me. I don't know where that came from. Apparently you knew it all the way back then, and you were wondering if you should protect yourself from legal liability because you knew that at a bare minimum, it was possible they were going to charge you for crimes because you knew you had committed them.